Welcome to the teaser for the Randcast on Patreon. You're probably absorbing this from our YouTube channel. So would you do us a solid and like and subscribe? Our YouTube channel is in the top 33 to 30% in the world in wrestling channels, which is a hell of a feat. And we do this to garner support on our Patreon, so please subscribe, where you'll get the podcast in its entirety and a shitload, I'm talking a shitload, of actual wrestling content.
To the Randcast.
Behave yourself, for fuck's sake.
Live from the Randatorium.
So, where did the Randatorium come from? When I pulled up to when I pulled up to the actual Sportatorium in Dallas, Texas, 89 or 90, I was in awe. It was the fucking Sportatorium, man. I was going in there to work for Fritz Von Erich, Kevin Von Erich, and Jerry Jarrett. I said, someday, I'm going to have a Randatorium.
They're going to rename it the Randatorium.
No, it's gone now. But we have our own Randatorium here where we run live weekly wrestling tapings. And that's where we get our content from. So, another thing I wanted to bring up on the teaser, because it seems to be a semi-popular topic. Have you ever seen that guy, Ali, that's worked for World Wrestling Entertainment? Mustafa Ali?
Sure. Seen him, yeah.
So, Mustafa Ali got a tryout at the same time one of the guys from here got a tryout. It was no secret. He was given that tryout because of ethnicity. You can't be publicly traded and not give tryouts to somebody with his ethnicity. You see what I'm saying? I told people 5 years ago, I told a woman who had a love for this but didn't have the other tools to actually wrestle and be a diva. Forget that. You've got 2 kids. Learn how to referee, because they're going to have to hire one now being publicly traded. Fast forward, now they've got a female referee that they actually use and is making 6-figure money. Past that, they've also got a black female referee who is making that kind of money, and they actually use too because they have to, because of her ethnicity, along with the males. Wrestling has always had prominently, and especially World Wrestling Entertainment, male referees. You see what I'm saying? So Mufasa gets the tryout. He was rooming with one of the guys that I got to try out, who was Arab. He could speak Farsi and proper Arab, which made him very valuable, you know? And this is right as they were incepting the 205 Live. Well, when he was down there during his tryout, he's got this gigantor ego, and nobody gave him the time of day. They treated him like he was there because of his ethnicity. This is before wrestling busted in, and particularly World Wrestling Entertainment busted in, to the United Emirates. So they make tens of millions of dollars for 1 or 2 giant events there every year. So that being said, they had 205 Live. Mustafa Ali, I like to call him Prince Habibu. You know what that's from? Did you ever see Click?
Yeah.
Remember? It's Habibu!
Yeah.
Prince Hubba Bubba, you know? I don't like the mother effer. And
Prince Habibu from
Click?
Yeah,
I like him a lot. Rob Schneider's a shit. I don't like Mustafa Ali. So when I started this thing, I had no idea about the local talent or the climate of the industry. It was just terrible. It was worse than I could have imagined. But he hits me up one day and on Facebook, sends me a message and asks me if he could work a date, if I could use them. I go, sure, show up, we'll see you then. Then the night before, okay, I'd like my $75 right after so I can get home. I went, motherfucker, what? You know, look at this scam. You know what I mean? Is it pay the Muslim or punch the clown? You know what I mean? It's all right. I don't need you. You're not going to do me $75 worth of business. I don't know where that came from. So where that came from is he can do like this. He can do some high spots and all that, but has still to this day has no idea what he's doing, why he's doing it in the ring. But they ended up bringing him in for 205 Live, and he was one of the few that got over. So he comes in at 205 Live, and so did that kid. Did you see Raw last night?
Bits and pieces.
Who's the kid that AJ wrestled?
I didn't see that.
Who's that kid that Vince is like taking under his wing as the gimmick?
Yeah.
What's his name?
I'll think of it. I can't think of it right off.
I'm such an asshole.
Yeah, I know who he is. I think everyone at home knows who he is.
So they both came from 205 Live. Look where that kid is. He almost pinned AJ Styles last night. But he's been going, he's getting a push.
Yeah, he does the selfies and Vince
Aaron,
sits him down.
not Aaron. Yeah, the selfie guy. God, I wish I knew. Well, maybe we'll put his picture on here. So him and Habibu, Prince Habibu.
It's really over. We can't remember his name.
I can't remember anybody's name. You know, I always say that. But anyway, so him and Habibu were 205 Live guys. So Habibu gets this shot, and he's tiny. And they told him, you're just too tiny, you know, at the tryout. But because of ethnicity, let's give him a call and get him on this 205 Live, which shit the bed, you know. Now, Adam Pearce, he came from NXT to the roster, and one of his responsibilities was some of the matches on 205 Live, okay? So Habibu became Pierce's responsibility, as Pierce is mostly his agent at the time. And that's what happened. So Habibu, when they start dissolving 205 Live and signed guys and didn't sign guys, they kept him around because of his ethnicity without coming out and saying, we can take you to the United Arab Emirates and use that guy on their roster. Do you know who that is? Mansoor, who's part of that deal. And without saying it, there's heat between the two countries, and this will draw for us. So if I'm Habibu, I'm that small, I'm shutting the fuck up, and I'm doing business. And I'm doing big business because I bet you a smart guy would make a shitload more off of those events in the United Arab Emirates, you know? Yeah. Well, Habibu, Prince Habibu, Mustafa Ali, Habibu, you call Habibu's bar Hoochie Bar? Habibu asked for his release because he has a message that he wants to spread amongst the world.
I heard.
And I'll tell you what that message is. In this kid's mind, he has star power of Muhammad Ali, and his message, I can guarantee you, is a message of Muslim love. He's going to bridge the gaps with his notoriety.
I can't wait.
Yeah. So,
anxiously anticipating this ground-shaking message.
That's what I'm saying.
From Habibu.
And Vince loves that stuff. He would love to let him have a gimmick where he spreads the Muslim love to the world, you know. First of all, you're not that important. Second of all, if you haven't learned at this point, it being in that environment for 2 years, you're never going to learn it. Third of all, he's going to dip out. I doubt he's going to end up with anything of consequence with AEW. Maybe because I think Tony Khan might be Arab, right? But I doubt it. He's going to end up coming back to the Indies, and this is what he does, and this is why I can't stand him. It has nothing to do with race. You know, the other kid, the Arab kid that went down with him, I love him to death. He actually, Milad hit me up that day after we were talking about him and said, my brother, I love you. Will you still deal with me? I'm like, of course I will. You know, wait till you see him. But anyway, it's got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with the way he worked down here. He came around and he got around a bunch of these smarks that became promoters. And Prince Habibu, Mustafa Ali's goal is to go out there in the ring with people that are, quote, end quote, greener than him, which is no such thing because he's never been anywhere, done anything up to that point. And what he does, he tries to outwork them so he can beat the shit out of them and then come back and berate them in a locker room to make himself feel 8 foot tall. And that's a shoot. I know 2 kids that he hurt, seriously injured. It could have really seriously injured these 2 kids that did nothing wrong.
Can't believe they put up with it.
Them or WWE?
WWE.
They don't know.
And them.
They don't know. He's a Muslim, and he became a cop. He became a suburban cop.
If he tried that on their watch, he wouldn't have.
No, he wouldn't. I watch him, and he's always been in his best behavior. But the other thing is he has Pierce. Pierce has been an advocate because, in a sense, up till Pierce's changed roles, he was part of Pierce's responsibility. Yeah. So I just want to say, don't be so full of yourself. You know, comment, like, subscribe, because I know half the internet, most of the internet wrestling community is going to be pissed at me because you guys just love Habibu for the few moves he can do. And I'll tell you what, at that size, you better be able to do what he can do in the ring and more. You know, if you're going to call yourself a wrestler.
How big is he?